At 30,000 feet over the Baltic Sea, the radar screens went black. The pilot shouted. No response. Total system failure. In the cabin, a young girl opened her bag and pulled out an old radio. Copper wire wrapped around her trembling hands. Military frequency 243.0. I'll try, she whispered, entering the sequence. A green light came on. At the NATO command center, alarms blared. Eagle 7 active. 2 Eurofighter Typhoons on patrol nearby broke formation. The lead pilot froze in disbelief. That's impossible. Eagle 7 died over Donetsk. A young female voice broke through the static. He's not speaking. This is his daughter. Anna Kowalski, 17 years old, radio engineering student in Berlin. Dark brown hair, blue eyes. I always carry my father's old radio with me, like a talisman. Her father, Captain Jan Kowalski, fighter pilot with the call sign Eagle 7, had gone missing 3 years earlier during a mission protecting a relief convoy. Officially declared killed in action. Her mother had died of cancer 2 years before that. Since then, Anna lived with her grandmother in a small apartment in Berlin-Kreuzberg, where the walls were thin and the memories heavy. Anna was obsessed with frequencies. She listened to the sky, recorded signal fragments, archived transmissions, the way others collect photos. Classmates mocked her, calling her the crazy girl who thinks the sky still hears the dead. She pretended not to hear the whispers, but she collected them like bruises. She was flying to Munich for a competition, Student Innovation in Radio Technology. Her project was about restoring military frequencies and emergency communication. At the airport, a security officer laughed when he saw the old device. What's a kid doing with such ancient tech? Anna smiled, a smile that hid oceans of grief. I'm talking to my father. The officer fell silent and handed it back. On flight LH-417, Anna sat by the window in seat 17A. Next to her was an older man named Heinrich Muller, a retired aviation engineer. He later testified, I heard the Eagle 7 identification with my own ears. Anna wore headphones and tuned her small radio to frequency 243.0, her father's frequency, silent for 3 years. Yet she monitored it every day. Heinrich watched her curiously. Does that thing still work? It only stays silent when the sky doesn't need to save anyone anymore. He nodded slowly, recognizing the weight of those words, the philosophy of a child who had lost too much but refused to stop listening. Anna had built the radio herself from her father's parts. Circuit boards he had shown her how to solder when she was 12. Radio is just another way of saying, I'm here. Can you hear me? He had told her. And as long as someone is listening, you're never truly alone. She had taken it literally. For 3 years, she listened into the silence. Her grandmother worried and suggested therapy. But Anna didn't want to move on, she wanted to move forward, carrying her father with her. At school, she was seen as strange, too serious, too focused on outdated technology while everyone else studied satellites and AI. But Anna knew, the old systems, the analog backup channels, those were the lifelines when everything digital failed. Digital is fast, until it breaks. Analog is slow, but it never dies. It just waits to be heard again. As flight LH-417 took off from Paris Charles de Gaulle, Anna pressed her forehead against the cold window and whispered. Eagle 7, this is your daughter. If you can hear me, watch over us. I'm listening, always. The frequency stayed quiet, only the gentle hiss of the universe. Yet she kept listening. Faith doesn't need certainty, only the refusal to give up hope. Heinrich saw her lips moving. He'd be proud of you. Whatever you're building, he'd be proud. Anna nodded silently and turned back to the radio. An hour later, the aircraft hit an electromagnetic storm. Without warning, modern technology turned to junk. Cockpit lights flickered, radar died, radio went silent, GPS froze. The captain announced over the intercom, panic barely hidden. We have complete communication failure. No signal, no guidance, no contact with ground control. The plane shook violently, passengers screamed, luggage fell from the overhead bins. But Anna stared at the displays and realized, the communication system had locked onto frequency 243.0, the old NATO backup channel. Civilian aircraft weren't even supposed to know it existed. Yet in the chaos, the system had found it and wouldn't let go. Anna stood up. A flight attendant tried to stop her. Heinrich rose. I'm a retired aviation engineer. This girl knows radio systems better than anyone here. Let her try. They took Anna to the cockpit. She connected her radio to the auxiliary port and entered her father's authentication codes, numbers she knew by heart. A ping. Green light. At the NATO base in Schleswig-Holstein, alarms went off. A call sign dead for years was suddenly active, on a civilian aircraft. 2 Eurofighters raced toward it. The lead pilot, Colonel Lucas Becker, recognized the call sign. Eagle 7, Kowalski once saved my life. This can't be real. He flew close enough to see through the cockpit windows, a young girl with headphones and an old military radio. Anna spoke into the microphone. NATO Command, this is Eagle 7 authentication on behalf of Flight LH-417. Total failure. Requesting emergency vectors. Silence. Then Colonel Becker. Copy that, Eagle 7-2. We've got you. You're safe now. He refused an initial order to shoot the plane down, given out of fear of stolen codes. If anyone wants to shoot down Captain Kowalski's daughter, they'll have to go through me first. The 2 Eurofighters escorted the passenger jet through the storm to a safe landing in Berlin. The truth came out. Jan Kowalski had disobeyed orders to save a civilian convoy and had been politically buried for it. Now his daughter forced NATO to remember him. Anna was celebrated, but she only said, "I only did what my father taught me. The real hero is the one who died 3 years ago." Frequency 243.0 became the Eagle 7 Memorial Frequency. Anna later studied aviation communications and developed new backup systems. Years later, when her son asked, she told him, "Your grandfather saved lives by flying into danger. I saved lives by making the sky listen." Courage comes in many forms, but it is always inherited. And sometimes, on quiet nights, operators hear a faint signal on the frequency, too weak to record, but strong enough to remind them. Some call signs never truly go silent. They just fly higher. Courage is contagious, and it keeps flying, through those who listen.